It's 1970, a time of drugs, rock and roll, and free love, and a war in Vietnam that is still raging.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Soldiers are coming back broken, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And for the first time in history, many are coming home dishonorably discharged, returning to drugs to help them cope. There's virtually no knowledge in the field of psychology at this time for treating junkies, let alone for treating someone who's both a junkie and a veteran suffering from trauma. After working for only one day in the drug care unit at the VA hospital in Chicago, Joel Laskin is called into a meeting with Dr. Rapman, a psychotic psychiatrist who is running the barely existing program. They're firing the head of the DCU. Nobody else wants a job because they're afraid of the junkies. So Joel is offered the job, even though he's still in school. He did an intern there last summer, and they know he has a knack for getting along with the veterans. Maybe it's because instead of wearing a white coat, he's a motorcycle-riding radical student who wears jeans, t-shirt, and Converse sneakers. He also talks their talk. At first, Joel is elated. Then he runs into bureaucracy, like when veterans are dishonorably discharged for drug abuse and are not eligible for VA programs. After considering throwing in the towel, Joel remembers his old roommate from college, Chris. Chris's uncle, Senator Williams, happens to be the head of the Senate Health, Education, and Welfare Subcommittee, which oversees VA affairs. Chris worked as a medic with the VA and knows it needs an overhaul. Senator Williams agrees to help change that policy, allowing VA hospitals to finally bring veterans into their DCUs for help. But Joel's feelings of success are quickly dashed when he realizes there are no psychologists or social workers who have any experience working with veteran junkies. As Joel looks around the VA, his heart goes out to these warriors, as he calls them. He wants them to receive real help, not the pseudo-help that has been doled out to them by Dr. Rapman, who just wants to maintain the status quo, as well as his distance from the vets who he fears and sometimes despises. After doing much research, Joel discovers a successful program for junkies on the streets and in prisons being run by a few black ex-junkies. Joel quickly heads out to the Black Hand of Chicago, a ballsy move in itself for a white guy to enlist the help of these ex-junkie counselors. They agree to assist him if he offers them federal jobs at the VA. Joel happily agrees before running into his next band of red tape. There are no descriptions in the VA for drug counselors, so these men cannot be hired to counsel vets. Fortunately, once again, Chris and his uncle, Senator Williams, step in to amend the rules. Finally, Joel and his new group are rolling. The veterans who badly need help can now enroll in a program boasting streetwise counselors with Joel's favorite form of therapy, art. Joel starts out by having the vets paint murals over the depressing puke green walls. After all, nobody can heal in a depressing atmosphere. Joel then brought in pottery wheels and clay, easels and paints, musical instruments, and some top-notch musicians and artists to teach the vets how to play. Joel's program was a success. Harold, Wilbert, and Al were as committed as he was and poured their hearts into their work. Soon, Joel has two vets enter his world more than the others. One is Jackson, a humongous black man who attacked two of Dr. Rapman's psychiatrists. But under Joel's program, he gradually becomes the huge teddy bear he really is. There's also a young white vet named Skip. He had jumped on a grenade to save his friend, which cost him a great portion of his torso, including his goods, leaving him very embittered. He is torn between accepting Joel's help and seeing Joel as his rival for Diane, the pretty social worker who's working with Skip and dating Joel. Joel's successful radical approach catches the attention of a local reporter who comes in to do a story on Joel and his program during the DCU's first Live at the VA. Live at the VA was a concert and party they put on to attract the community into the VA to help integrate the veterans back into society. During the interview, Joel explained that he'd rather use art than methadone because methadone is a form of slavery. The next day, Joel is faced with a furious and insanely jealous Dr. Rapman and the FBI. He's informed that as a federal employee, he does not have the freedom of speech. Joel argues he's entitled to it. The enraged Joel also finds out that the heads of the hospital have been subverting funds meant for his program to line their own pockets. Fortunately, the woman working as Dr. Rapman's administrator, Isolda, is not only a sexy cougar who has the hots for Joel, but also a wealth of information and help. Soon, Joel finds himself in a tug-of-war between his belief systems and the officials who are trying to bring him down because he threatens their cushy status quo. Everything comes to a head when Skip discovers that Diane and Joel are having a relationship, and Harold is gunned down by agents in front of his own house and wife. As everything spins out of control, including Joel's sanity, he realizes that he has only one friend he can turn to as a confidant, someone Joel sneaks in to see nightly, Sinbad, the gorilla, who is living all alone in captivity in the Chicago Zoo. Maybe it's because Joel fears that if he loses, like Sinbad, he and the veterans will be disempowered and locked up by bureaucracy.